Okay, first thing we notice about these files, it's the same format for both. Right? Something, colon, instrument count, instrument count, instrument count, yay. One piece of software should be able to solve both problems, read file A, read file B. Okay? So we need something that reads text files that are in this format. Then, whatever its output is, we're going to have two of those things, and we need to sort of divide one dictionary by another, or divide that by that, or subtract that, or something to see if that's how many we've got. Do we have as many as we need? The answer it produces will be yes or no. For any given band, I hesitate to call the Berliner Philharmonic a band, but for any band and piece of music, the answer is either yes or no. So then we just have to decide for each of those, are we sorting them or printing them out in some particular order? Am I not on? Am I on now? Okay. So let's pretend I just repeated everything I said in the same format. Okay. Who wants to start with reading in the file, and who wants to start with doing the calculation? If everybody puts their hand up right now, then I have no more information than I had before. So let's try it again. Who wants to start with reading in the files? Who wants to start with doing the calculation? Who wants to get another coffee before we do anything? Your coffee's right there. Help yourself. Here we go. Yes?
I think it's not on.
Is it on now?
Yes, not on.
Okay. So, let me do this. First thing I'm going to do is create a really simple test case. I'm going to say file 1 is the lines. What's your favorite short band name? Blur, colon, guitar 2, bass 1, percussion 1, a new line at the end. There's a really simple bands 1. Right? If I can't read that, shouldn't keep going. Okay? Now, let's define a function to read. What are we going to call this file format? Read stuff of lines. Okay? I should come up with a better name. I'm sure the file format has some, type description. We'll ignore that. So, how am I going to store this? I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm going to say for line in lines, line is line.strip. Let's get rid of leading and trailing white space. And then fields is line.split on the colon. Pretty clear that if I split one of these on the colon, I should get the band name and everything else. Good so far? Okay. Assert len of fields is too few or too many colons on line. Okay? If somebody has given me a line with no colons or with 5 colons, nothing else is going to work. So let me just check. When I break this into fields on colons, I get exactly 2 pieces. If I don't, game is over. How many people put in a check for that? Okay. The older you get, the more paranoid you become. Right? So, band name is fields 0.strip. I'm going to strip off any leading and trailing white space on the first half of what I get out of there, because I think there's going to be a space there, and it's not part of the band name. Right? Now, this should handle the case of blur colon as well as blur space colon or blur tab colon or things like that. Right? I mean, I put spaces before and after the colons for readability. I'm not sure whether it's part of the file format spec or not. Let's be generous in what we handle and strict in what we produce. Now, what do I do next? I've got fields 1. Let's stick it in a variable called that. Right. Field 0, my band name. My instruments there. So let's break that on white space. I've got space guitar, space 2, space bass, space 1, space percussion, space 1. I've already got rid of that trailing new line because I stripped everything up here before I broke it into pieces. So now let's break this up into its components. Okay. Now if all is going well, I should see name, count, name, count, name, count. So what I want to do is step through this in pairs. Okay. So let's say I equals 0, while I is less than len of instruments. Hopefully, name is instruments at I, and number is instruments at I plus 1, and then I plus equals 2. Right? I starts as 0. So I should have guitar at location 0 and 2 at location 0 plus 1. And then I move this on by 2. Now I is 2, bass and 1. And I move it on 2 spaces, percussion, and 1. Okay, so I'm striding through that list. Instead of going element by element, I'm going 2 at a time. And that's why I don't use a for loop here. For gives me back each value 1 at a time. There is, in fact, a way to tell a for loop. I want you to skip ahead in a regular pattern, but it involves concepts we haven't seen. I think this one is actually clearer to read, even if you know how to do it with a for loop. I starts there, and I say, while it's less than the number of fields I've got, move it forward in 2s. Okay. And name is instruments of I. Number is int of instruments of I. I don't want the string that has digit 2 or digit 1, 2. I want the number. So I've got to convert that string into a number. Okay? And now what do? I go, okay, am I on the right track at all? Print. Band name. Band name. Print, ... name, number. All right? I just want to see if I'm on the right track. And then to run my test, I'm going to say read stuff of bands 1. Exploratory programming. Okay? I'm trying to do things the right way, but, am I even on the right track here? So